there, OCKC, Jed here. Welcome to my cabin and welcome to my first attempt to make a video on request of Christina, who wanted to continue with some knife skills. Our aim today is to look at supported grips. We've done the forehand grip, the backhand grip and this sort of thing, but I want to show you the thumb supported grip and the knee supported grip. Now, before we get on with any of that, of course, safety first. I'm here, I've got my knife, and I'm going to use the Mora clipper like we found to be such a useful thing. And of course, I've picked up my knife, so I've also picked up my first aid kit. Let's hope I don't have to use that. So, first of all then, we've got the first aid kit. I've made sure that there's no distractions. I've turned off my telephone so that I don't get any urgent calls. And also there's no incoming from outside because we're all absolutely isolated at the moment. I've got a nice firm sitting position. I was going to say I've got a nice firm seat, but that would not be particularly true. And I've got my elbows on my knees and I'm ready to continue and use my Mora knife. So I take out the blade, making sure, of course, that I do not cut my finger. And I think of all the other safety bits and pieces that we remembered, and I think you guys can do that. Now, I've taken care of these, but I would like you to think of all your safety drills before you attempt any of these. So the first thing I'm going to cover is how to truncate a stick. Now, this is a very slim stick. It's also a little bit dry, which will make it a bit tough to use, so that's my excuse anyway. It's much easier with green wood. Now, you've seen that when we've done truncating in the past, knife in the other hand and whacking it through with a baton. Well, today we're going to use a forehand grip supported by the thumb, and we're going to do what's known as the rose cut. So I'm going to select a piece of wood from somewhere out of the middle here that I want to do to make a particular thing. Let's say I'm making some sort of artifact, a trigger for a trap, or something to use in the kitchen while we're out in the field. So I've decided I want to cut it about here. Now, the way I do it is that I will take my knife, place it on the piece of wood, make sure my right hand thumb is there and my second thumb goes there to support it. My finger does not stray forward, it's back to here. And I start my cut. Let's take it about there. And I force the blade in a curve, and this is very dry. And revolving it clockwise or anti-clockwise, in this case it's going clockwise for me. I keep going through. Now, if this was a thicker stick, I'd probably go around 2 or 3 times, because what I want to do is cut the fibres on the outside of the stick with this very powerful, accurate, yet safe cutting stroke. And having done that much, really what I can do now to break it, even something as thick as a broomstick, I'd take hold of the sapling, grab it here, and quickly, like that, and it breaks free without any hassle whatsoever. And I'm left with the end of the stick looking pretty grim. So now, using the forehand grip, remember, right up to the top, I aim here. Oh, now what am I about to do? I'm about to aim it into my knuckle, because when it comes off the back of here, it immediately drops down. So I've got my hand uncomfortably low but safe here, and then with a good strong forehand grip, trim off the end. 2 shots and I've got a pretty good end. Okay, so that's the thumb supported grip. Remember, we've got our thumb here, we've got our other thumb mounted on the back of the blade here, and we cut in a curve. And we don't force it, we use the power, the sharpness of the blade to do the work, and multiple times gives us the effectiveness. Now the next grip I want to show you is the knee supported grip. Now actually, if you're out in the bush and you need to sharpen a few stakes, let's say you're making a plank bed or something like that, and your arm is going to get tired and your wrist is going to get tired, and you can use a sapling or something that's growing up like this to wrap your hand around and steady your hand, take all the pressure. If it's narrow enough, you can put the edge of the knife against it like this, and then you're pulling the work through the blade. I'm going to show you how you do it using your knee. Let's see if we can get forward here. Okay. So the first thing I do is take my knife hand and I hook that part of my base of my thumb and my wrist around my knee, and I have now got a really powerful cutting position. Now, before I start, what I want to do, because I've got a little bit of a plan here, if I place that at 90 degrees on there, and I want to make sure that my cutting is accurate, I can then revolve this piece of work until I've got it right round and made a nice accurate notch, which you will not be able to see. I can then lift the bark all the way around when I find that notch, which saves me endlessly going back and having to go further and further up the piece of wood. Okay, so I've got my start point. Hook it round my knee, and now I draw the work through the blade. Now, if I do it too shallow, it doesn't matter, because I just have to increase the angle on the blade. What is a mistake is to start with a steep angle and end up cutting your piece of work much too short and not being able to do it accurately. But you can see the power and control that you've got when you cut in this way. And I'm going to continue till I find down the piece of wood. And now, for a reason that will become clear later on, I think I'm going to put a bit of a point on this end. Right. I'm also going to use this to show you that not only for stripping it, I can actually use it for, let's say, creating a feather on a piece of wood. Let's have a look at that. That's not looking too bad, is it? Let's do on the other side and just see what transpires. Going to have to be a bit patient with this one, obviously. And then possibly have one on this side too. And possibly one on this side. If I can do it without cutting it off. That'll do for now. And now I'm going to be using my rose cut to completely truncate it without snapping it and then cutting off the excess. I'm going to go all the way through. So watch this. And now I'm going to carry on round doing tiny little cuts until there's no more wood left. And eventually it should get wobblier and wobblier and wobblier. But we're not there yet. This thumb really does provide excellent support for doing this job. Accurate, powerful and safe. Oh, now it's starting to get wobbly. How many more little cuts can I get before it falls off? Oh, dearie me. One more. Okay. I think what we'll do is just give it a little bit of pressure in this direction here. You'll be able to see why they call it the rose cut. And actually, my diploma for doing a good job is to end up with a rather pointless looking flower. But there we go. That's how it works. No, if I'm working with children, I'd even get them to colour in the petals on the inside. Could end up with something really very, very spectacular. Absolutely rubbish, but there we go. Anyway, I hope that's been useful. We'll cover some more knife skills. If there's anything particular that you would like me to cover, then just give us a call and we see what we can do. So today, remember, the main points that came out of our lessons were the thumb supported grip, forehand grip, thumb now, not the ordinary forehand grip, but with the thumb, something we never do if we're just using it on its own, and the second thumb going on top. This finger keeping well back out of the way. And secondly, the knee support, where we've got it wrapped around our knee and we're drawing the work through the blade, which saves this poor old wrist from getting worn out. Well, I hope that was useful, and look forward to our next time. Take care.